Hello students, I am Dr. B.K. Singh, Professor of Civil Engineering at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. So, today we will be discussing unit number 2, lecture number 1, supplementary cementitious material part 1. So, before starting the cementitious material, we go to the background of hydration of ordinary Portland cement, because you have discussed so far so many things related to ordinary Portland cement. So, we have a 4 box compound, like we have box compound like we have C3S, C2S, C3A and C4AF. So, what we are observing here, so this is reacting with water, reacting with water, reacting with water, reacting with water. Okay. So, this reaction has been shown here. Okay. So, after the reaction, these two compounds C3S, which is responsible for the strength, and C2S, this is producing two compound. One is C3S, another is 3CH. So, CSH gel, that is going to give you the strength binding properties, similarly here also and here also. So, these two compounds. So, this is giving you calcium silicate hydrate and calcium hydroxide. What it is going to give? Calcium hydroxide. These two compound we are getting hydration product. So, in cement, hydrated cement or hardened cement, calcium hydroxide is the weakest thing. Okay. So, that we have to think regarding that. And similarly, we have C3A and C4AF, that is also not going to contribute more about the strength, but this calcium hydroxide component in cement reaction produces how much? Is about 28%. If you consider this percentage wise, so this product, and if you add this one plus this part, so if you consider the total volume, so this is about 28%. Okay. So, this compound is easily attacked by chemicals, like even if you have a carbon dioxide, they will react with the carbon dioxide available in the atmosphere, and that will convert into CaCO3. So, once again that is not a good thing, that is going to reduce the pH value of the concrete and so on, and leaching may be the problem. Similarly, it is inefficient in filling the voids, connectivity of the pores, especially in transition zone. So, we have a transition zone. Suppose you have a aggregate, say let us say we have a coarse aggregate. So, coarse aggregate, it is surrounded by mortar here. Okay. So, this is surrounded by the mortar. So, in this mortar, how we are getting the mortar? So, first we are getting the paste. So, how we get paste? So, this is nothing but cement plus water. This is going to react and going to make the paste. Then we have a mortar. So, how we are going to get the mortar? So, this is nothing but paste plus fine aggregate, and then we have coarse aggregate, then we have concrete. So, how we are getting the concrete? So, concrete means mortar is suspended, concrete means we have mortar plus coarse aggregate. So, in this transition zone, this mortar is having less water cement ratio. Okay. And this zone, this particularly this zone, particularly as this zone, this calcium hydroxide, you can say CH. This CH is not able to fill the pores properly. Okay. This is having a problem with the pores. This is not going to properly fill the pores. So, this is the weak link. This is the motor. This is the weak link we are having. So, the calcium hydroxide is the weakest link in concrete. So, due to what we are getting, we are not getting the proper strength. Durability is the big problem. So, concrete is not durable, it is not going to long last. Okay. If the concrete is porous, so if the permeability is more, porous is more, what will happen? There will be ingress of oxygen, moisture, carbon dioxide, chloride, sulphate, and finally, it is going to deteriorate the concrete either by corroding the reinforcement because the volume of reinforcement is more. So, what we have to do, what is the solution then? So, solution is here. What you have to do? You convert calcium hydroxide to CSH gel by adding mineral admixtures. What is mineral admixture? This is also a supplementary cementitious material, or you can say a mineral admixture, you can say this is nothing but you add supplementary cementing material. Supplementary cementing material, a cementitious material in the concrete that can be replaced by the cement, some percentage can replace by the cement, or as a property enhancer also which can be used. Okay. So, if you see the IS 456 2000, this permits supplementary cementitious material for modifying the properties of concrete, and conforming to that we have used different types of minerals like fly ash of grade 1, that is conforming to IS 3812 part 1 and part 2. Okay. Similarly, we can use the silica fume conforming to IS 15388 2003. Then we can use ground granulated blast furnace slag conforming to 16714 conforming to IS Indian standard 16714 2018. Then you can use ultra fine ground granulated blast furnace slag conforming to IS 16715 2018. You can use metaculene for use in cement, mortar and concrete conforming to IS 16354 2015. So, these are the recommended codes for using the other material than cement, ordinary Portland cement. These are the mineral admixtures. So, their standard has been already developed by our Bureau of Indian Standard. So, you can download all these codes for getting the things in better perspectives. Okay. And then pozzolans. What is pozzolans? So, pozzolans means that is a name derived from the Puzzoli, that is a place in Italy from the mining of the volcanic ash. Okay. So, this pozzolan word has come from Italy because they are mining the volcanic ash and using as a pozzolanic material. Okay. So, they called it pozzolans. Okay. So, that has been used long back. they have the idea about more than 300 years back they were using, Italy people. Okay. So, pozzolans are non-hydraulic, okay. It will not react in the presence of water. For example, you can say fly ash, class F, silica fumes, metakaolin, rice husk ash, calcined clay, bagasse ash. So, all these things can be considered as pozzolans and they are non-hydraulic in nature. So, what is pozzolan? If you define the pozzolan and another hydraulic minerals you can use as admixture are blast furnace slag, fly ash class C. So, we can discuss that in length what is a fly ash class F and fly ash C at the end of this lecture. So, you just listen what is pozzolan. So, if you see the definition of pozzolan in ASTM, they say a siliceous or siliceous and aluminous material which in itself possesses little or no cementitious value, but which will in finely divided form and in the presence of water react chemically with calcium hydroxide. This is very, very important. Calcium hydroxide is nothing but lime, chuna. Okay. So, if water moisture is present, water is present and calcium hydroxide is there. So, in that presence this siliceous material and aluminaceous material both will react with calcium hydroxide at ordinary temperature and it will form cementitious compound which is having the cementitious properties. Okay. So, pozzolans is not reacting with water itself, but for the reaction water is necessary and calcium hydroxide is necessary. So, now you can understand calcium hydroxide you can get from the product of the cement, because cement we have seen in the previous this slides. So, these two components C3S, C2S. So, we are providing this calcium hydroxide, this is in terms of cement chemistry formula. So, calcium hydroxide we are getting about 28%. Okay. So, this thing will react with pozzolans and that is going to give you the cementitious particle. Okay. So, how pozzolans reaction occurs over long time? It may take months or year also, because we are getting the calcium hydroxide from the cement, because this calcium hydroxide this C3S will react with water and it is going to give you the CSH gel plus calcium hydroxide. So, this reaction will complete in 28 days maximum, but if you consider the C2S plus H, this is going to give you CSH and plus CH. So, this reaction will go years, it is not going to complete so fast. So, this calcium hydroxide, this one in the presence of water, this will be converted to calcium ion and hydroxyl ion, okay, calcium ion and hydroxyl ion. So, this calcium ion and hydroxyl ion is going to react with SiO2 and going to form the CSH gel. So, this is nothing but cementitious property. Similarly, this in the presence of water, calcium hydroxide is going to break into calcium ion and hydroxyl ion, and that is going to react with Al2O3, and once again they are going to form the calcium aluminate hydrate. So, calcium silicate hydrate and calcium aluminate hydrate both are having the cementitious property. So, they will be as good as you are getting this CSH from the cement product. Their property is little bit different, but more or less it is similar. So, they have the similar binding property. And not only that, that is going to improve the ITZ, ITZ interfacial transition zone by reducing the water cement ratio and filling the pores. So, this concrete will be less permeable. Okay. So, what is the impact of mineral admixture? If you are using the mineral admixtures like whatever I have given, like fly ash, silica fume, metakaolin, rice ash, metakaolin, etc. So, what is the effect of that? Okay. So, this is going to improve the long term durability, reducing potential of cracking. So, if your structure is durable, working lasting for long, say for 100 years, what will happen? Our social life is also improving, because we have not to construct the house again and again. If you see, the 6 to 7% of total greenhouse gas emission come from the cement production. So, that is also going to reduce, because we are going to replace this mineral admixture, because mineral admixtures. Okay. So, these mineral admixtures, if you see here, that is nothing but produced by the produced in the byproduct. This is nothing but byproducts, like suppose we are considering the fly ash, more than 50% of the ready mixed concrete, they are using fly ash as a part replacement of this cement, and that is nothing but that is produced in thermal power station, that is a waste material. Okay. So, that you are going to use as a proper material. So, 6 to 7% total greenhouse. So, if you are producing 1 ton of 1000 kg of cement, so almost similar, say about 95%, you are going to produce the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, say almost 950 kg of 950 kg of carbon dioxide you are going to produce, release in the atmosphere carbon dioxide. So, if you are replacing this part, that is going to reduce your greenhouse gases, that is another benefit you are using, because clinker requirement will reduce, cement requirement will reduce. So, if you consider the economics, because that is a waste product. So, if it is a waste product, so waste product means we are replacing the cement with waste product, okay, like mineral admixtures. So, this is going to increase the benefit of the cost ratio, longer service life. So, we are going to improve our economic condition. So, if you see the houses here in India or any country, if you consider, so 5% of GDP, 5% of the GDP will go in repair of the existing structure, because due to the durability problem. Earlier we are not using the mineral admixture properly. Okay. So, nowadays we are using the mineral admixtures, and we have to encourage to use the mineral admixtures. So, that way, that is the impact of mineral admixture. So, another name of mineral admixture I have already told, supplementary cementing materials. Okay. So, what you have seen, amorphous silica plus calcium hydroxide from the cement, and you get additional calcium silicate hydrate. So, sometimes high CaO, that is also convert this into cementitious pozzolanic material. Okay. So, that also we have to consider. So, that is the advantage of using the mineral admixture and how it is going to impact our economy and social life. Okay. So, if you see the chemical analysis and selected properties of typical fly ash slag, cement, silica fume, sand, clay, this is a tested roughly to see what are the properties. So, we have two types of ash, one is class F type, another is class C type. Okay. So, these are the compositions you can and property you can get here. So, like SiO2 percentage, Al2O3 percentage, okay. Then Fe2O3 का CaO percentage, okay. SO3 percentage, Na2O percent, K2O percentage, okay. Loss of ignition, fineness, nitrogen absorption, relative density. So, all these things you can, if you check here. So, some of the samples have been taken and tested here, you got 2.38 density. Similarly, for class C fly ash you get 2.65. So, slag cement they have also tested this. Silica fume, it is having very rich SiO2. So, 90% material is SiO2. So, if you take the calcined, this is also having a 58% of silica and 29% of Al2O3. Similarly, if you see the calcined layer, this is also having a very good property. If you see the metakaolin, this is also having very good property, 53% and 43% for some of the things. So, this table you can go through properly and you can check this the values here. Okay. Now, so what is fly ash? So, fly ash is a byproduct of the combustion of pulverized coal in electric power generation plants. During combustion, the coal's mineral impurities such as clay, feldspar, quartz and shale fuse in suspension and are carried away from the combustion chamber by the exhaust gases. In the process, the fused material cools and solidifies into glassy particles called fly ash. The fly ash is then collected from the exhaust gases by electrostatic precipitators, or then we have to collect in bag, or directly you can put into the silage, fly ash silage through the pump as a finely divided powder. Okay. So, how if you go to the National Thermal Power Station anywhere here NTPC plants. So, there they are crushing this coal. After the crushing it will be burned. Why it is getting burned? For generating the steam, for steam generator in power plant. Okay. And some part is not burned because there is some impurity like clay, feldspar, quartz and shale. So, that will become airborne. Okay. And in suspension condition itself, that will solidify. Okay. That will fuse and solidify. Okay. And that will be go through the chimney, but in the chimney what we do? We put the electrical precipitator like this card will be there, a small charge card will be there. So, from that, because this particle is charged in nature, so this electrical precipitator is having the opposite charge. So, that will get attracted. So, after the attracting this will come down. Okay. So, in series there will be plate, suppose a big chamber is there, ash handling plants if you go. So, in ash handling plant they will put this type of lots of this precipitator, and this will collect, and finally, all this particle will get collected here. So, either it collect in bag sacks on a tractor, or from here if you are not taking the nowadays in modern days we are not putting the tractor, but they are pumping it. So, they will pump in the silage, they will have the big silage here. So, ash handling silage, and they will put here fly ash. Okay. And after the fly ash it has been collected here, then we go for the grading. So, big grade, so we have to separate it according to the finer particle, and then you can send to the industry, cement industry or mixing plant. So, So, if you see nowadays more than 50% ready mix concrete is used for ready mix fly ash is used for production of concrete. Okay. So, classification of fly ash. Okay. So, we have two type of fly ash, one is F type, another is C type. So, if you see the according to the ASTM C61, two classes are there, F type and C type. So, what is the class F type fly ash? That is having a pozzolanic properties produced from burning of anthracite or bituminous coal. This is important. They have siliceous SO2 plus aluminum oxide Al2O3 plus iron oxide equal to or greater than 70%. So, this is not having cementing properties. Okay. Directly if you this is not having the hydraulic properties, if you put directly in water, F fly ash is not going to react. Okay. And this is the required calcium hydroxide for reaction, and this is a good quality because you have more than 70% of pozzolanic material like silicon dioxide, aluminum oxide, iron oxide. Okay. So, this is the another type of fly ash is C type of fly ash. So, C type of fly ash is having pozzolanic properties as well as some cementitious properties, both is having. If you keep in moisture condition, this fly ash will get reacted, some portion may get reacted. Okay. And this is produced from, if you are burning the lignite or sub bituminous coal, lignite that is available in Neyveli, this Tamil Nadu. So, this is not a very good quality of, I can say, fuel. So, here you will get this silicon dioxide plus aluminum oxide plus iron oxide equal to greater than 50%. So, that is going to classify as a C type of fly ash, C type of a fly ash. Okay. So, we have two type of fly ash, one is F type, another is C type. Okay. One is F type, another is C type. So, what are the properties here, what you are observing here? So, whatever the fly ash is here 70% more than 70%. Okay. So, class C type of fly ash will be class, even if you take the F fly ash, this is having more than 50%. So, you can indirectly see say F fly ash will also qualify as C type of fly ash. So, these are the important properties, and how it is going to so, what is the physical properties of fly ash that I would like to discuss now. So, most fly ash particles are fine solid spheres, although some hollow sensosphere and pedosphere. So, this is having the microscopic view has been given here. So, this is spherical in nature, and if you see this the senosphere, so this will be like this. Okay, in this shape. Okay. And okay. Here also inside will be, sometimes it will be also some packed material in this fashion. We have a packed material like this. So, this is having a shape of senosphere and pedosphere. Pedosphere means inside the sensosphere some more particle will be packed here inside the particle. So, particle size of fly ash vary from less than 1 micron meter to more than 100 micron meter. If you see the specific surface area, so specific surface area is around 30,000 centimeter square per gram to 70,000 centimeter square per gram. And if you see the density here in air conditions, so that is their value is around 540 kg per meter to 860 kg per meter cube when it is loosely packed. But if you packed with the vibration tightly, then their density will be 1120 kg per meter to 1500 kg per meter cube. If you see the specific gravity, that is ranges between 1.9 to 2.8. So, color is generally gray to tan. So we have discussed regarding the Celsius mineral admixture, and next class we will also continue more related to these topics. Thank you.